Okay, before we start the next step, you'll be doing this a lot. Washing, especially if you're doing a lot of batches of peanut butter cups, you're going to be washing your plates a lot because you don't want to like use too many plates. You really only need 2 bowls. So if you're making more than one batch, you're going to be doing it like over and over. Anyway, the next step is peanut butter melting. Now, obviously, in the last part, we didn't actually melt any chocolate. I'll do that maybe some other time. But now we're going to melt the peanut butter for the inside of the peanut butter cups. Now, what I tend to prefer to use is Kraft smooth peanut butter. You know, if you like chunky peanut butter, awesome. If you like another brand, awesome. I mean, ultimately, it's your choice. You could even go crazy and try the peanut butter. I've never tried that myself. It's really your choice. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to be using the Kraft peanut butter smooth variety. Maybe we'll do this sometime for fun. So what you do is you take a clean bowl, and as you can see, we ran out almost. We're almost out. So again, my handsome cameraman had to run out and buy another one while I was continuing to make these ones here, and I thank you very much. So now you take your spoon. Now, if I get any on my fingers, excuse the licking. You know, peanut butter is so yummy. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mr. Handsome Cameraman agrees. That's your name, Handsome Cameraman. How's that? You're the handsome cameraman. So anyway, so you scoop, and you scoop, and you scoop until it all comes out now. Okay. That jar we'll finish off later, maybe with the sandwich. So, take the new peanut butter jar, open it up. Now this is just bought today, so fresh as all heck. Did you get that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get what I did? Okay, so now, that's a lot of peanut butter, isn't it? Whoa! So it's like the chocolate. You pop it in and you melt it. I go about 35 seconds. Now, the main thing with melting peanut butter, you gotta be really, really careful with it because if you melt it too long, it can unfortunately get this very unpleasant taste and smell, and that's when you can tell that you've gone too far. And after being taught the recipe and my experimentation to try to get it perfect and the right temperature and consistency, I find about 35 seconds is a good number because it's nice and liquidy and finished. Now it's going to go off in a second. Ding, ding, ding. Now here's our shells as they're completely done. You want to give them a tap? You want to give them a tap? Nice and hard. Yeah, excuse the insides, they are a bit warped. So once this is done, now we're going to set that aside. I get thirsty. Of course, everyone does. Now we're going to pull out our peanut butter. And as you can see, it's mostly melted. But once you stir it up, it'll melt fine. So I'm just going to take this out here and give it a good stir. Now, some people may be like, well, why don't you put the peanut butter in as is? You could do that, but it's definitely a lot more complex, complicated, and the taste doesn't change. The peanut butter still tastes the same. Like, it'll harden back to its kind of that's called clay consistency, if you can think of a better word. Awesome. I can't think of the right word right now. Anyway, so we've stirred it around, and the peanut butter looks very smooth and liquidy. Wouldn't you agree? Okay, so let's move this back because now we're gonna bring these guys to the front. Now, again, it's the same thing. This is where it's really gonna get messy because you can see it takes a bit longer to stop running off the spoon, and then you know, your pudding. Now, this is where you can kind of play with the amount of peanut butter, because maybe some people like more chocolate to peanut butter ratio, and others like maybe more peanut butter to chocolate ratio. My handsome cameraman and I, we like more peanut butter to chocolate. So, and this is how I make it for my work functions when we have to bring in our own dishes. What's actually funny is, just as a random story, I'm not a good cook. I'm a terrible cook. I can cook like pasta and like, you know, basic things I can cook fine. It's just when you get really complex stuff, I'm not really that good at it. I find anything involving baking, mathematics, because I was really good at math in high school, I am much better at. It's an interesting story. Everybody, my father, my mother, and my kid sister have all been involved in the culinary world or are currently involved in the culinary world. I am kind of the late bloomer. I really only discovered that I love baking maybe a year, 2 years ago. I think it was after I met the handsome cameraman. I don't know, what do you think? He's not talking. Anyway, let's see. So this is a little faster again because it's a little more liquidy. I don't have to wait for it kind of to just go bloop, 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 bloop. And what's good is, you know, peanut butter is good for you. So if you have a bit of an excess peanut butter after, then you can eat it. It's not bad to eat it this way. It's just kind of like eating peanut butter soup. Now maybe some people aren't appealed by that, and if you're one of those people and don't like what I'm saying, I apologize. Maybe I should put a disclaimer up. Those who don't like people talking about eating peanut butter, do not watch this video. Well, that was skill. Okay, so now I don't want to make a mess. I'm just going to get rid of that here. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the next stage. Some of these look funny because maybe I added a little extra on top, and like this one right here, for example, if you look, get a closer look, it kind of looks like a double layer because it started to regain its texture as I added a little more, noticing it wasn't filled enough. So now the rest look fine, obviously. I mean, they look pretty good. So now, again, we are gonna put this back in the freezer. This part takes a little longer for it to get back to its, for it to freeze to the point where we want to add the top of the shell. So if you got a 5-minute YouTube video, maybe like a 7-minute YouTube video, or just watch a music video, maybe like, or part of an episode of anime or a TV show you like, and should be good to go in a few minutes.